Hey guys, it's me Pascal, your Christian appetizer. Are you ready for today's topic? Because I want to talk with you about the fact that we all need limitations and we all have limitations. What do I mean with limitations? In order to have a balanced life, we need to set up some limits because we know having too much things or to do too much of something is not beneficial for us. And I know that this topic might be highly related to self-discipline, and you might be, oh no, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to hear anything about this. But let me tell you, this is highly important because I experienced in the last couple of days, actually more than a week ago, since now it's going on for more than a week now, that I am working way too much. I am sleeping not enough. You can see it on my eyes, my face, that basically I am not respecting the limits that I have. And because I don't spend enough time with God in the last couple of days, or because I don't sleep enough, and because I'm working too much, because I'm thinking way too much about my current job situation, I'm creating such an environment that is not beneficial for me and also for my relationship with my family and friends and my wife and for me as well. Because putting so much pressure on yourself because of overthinking or because of working more than maybe necessary or more than beneficial, I'm exceeding my limits, just creates a burden on me that affects not only me but also the relationship with God. And then this is the situation where we have to say stop, because whatever we need in life, we need definitely more of God and less of everything else. If I give the rest of the world basically worldly pleasures like adventure parks or Netflix or food or whatever it is, more room in my life than the rest, then of course I create a disbalance because I'm putting more weight and more priority on more time at the end, which is not beneficial for me. So I don't know, what is your limitation that you are not respecting, or what is the limitation that you actually don't know? And let us dive deep in this topic today, at least for a couple of minutes, so that you are encouraged to basically change your perspective on this topic. Because we all have limits. We don't know them yet, but we have them. We need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on the person. And we can't recharge the battery. It's not like that we say we sleep 3 hours this night and the next night I will sleep 7-8 hours and then I will add the remaining hours that I was missing the day before. This doesn't work like this. So this is one limitation that we have to respect. And another thing that we have to accept and to realize is basically that we can't work too much. If we work too much and don't pay attention to stay in rest and calm down, then we also have a problem, because we are born not to work. We need to work in order to live, in order to have money, in order to pay the things that we need in our life. But spending too much time at our workplace definitely has a negative effect on our relationships and on our personal, physical, and mental health. So maybe the problem is that you are eating too much, or maybe you're not eating enough healthy stuff, or maybe you're not spending enough time taking care of your body, maybe in the gym, or maybe doing some stretches, whatever it might be. When we ignore that we have limits and don't accept that we are living in a world that has some rules or some laws or some principles that we have to follow. The Bible is basically a book of principles, and those are truth. And if we don't respect them, it doesn't mean that they don't happen. They still happen, but that's why we call them the truth. Because even though you know them or you don't know them, it doesn't matter. As long as you respect them, they become truth in your life. As long as you don't respect them, they still are truth, and you will reap basically the effect of not following this principle. Because whatever we do in our life, we always sow. Whatever we do, we always sow. The Bible calls sowing the part where we do something that we want to reap, that we are desiring. And whatever we sow, we have to make the decision, is it actually something that we want to reap in the future? Is it something that is actually beneficial for ourselves? And maybe it's sowing something like saving money. Even though you would love to spend all your money this month, saving some for the future. Because sowing now in tears, that's what the Bible says, will lead to reaping later on in joy. And this is not always the case. Some things it's easier for us to sow, like being maybe polite to elderly people or forgive people or whatever it might be. But the benefits or the disadvantages of our sowing are also there. So we have to be really mindful of sowing the right seeds. And this highly connects to limits, setting up limits that we respect in order for us to prosper, in order for us to grow, in order for us to stay calm, to have peace and not stress and not overthink. And putting a lot of time in this relationship with God helps us to understand what is actually too much and what is actually not enough. And let us read for this Proverbs 25:16, where the Bible says, "Have you found pleasure sweet like honey? Eat only as much as you need, otherwise being filled excessively, you vomit it." It's basically saying in simple words, there is a limit for everything. Might it be training, might it be eating, might it be work, might it be spending time on the sofa or in the bed, or you can't rest the whole day, you can't rest the whole week, you can't rest the whole month. It's not enough to do this on a regular basis and exceed your limits, because the limits of each of us is different. Certain persons only need maybe 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Majority of people need 7 to 8 hours. Maybe those who train need up to 9 hours. It's in my case, in my situation, it's the case. And we have to find out that we have limitations, and then what limitations are actually in our life, in our environment, the reality. And then respect them. And then really put on self-discipline as we have received in Jesus, through Jesus, a spirit of self-discipline that allows us to behave a certain way and do the right thing, even though it doesn't feel good right now. But as I told you, certain things where we sow now in tears, we will reap later on in joy. For example, I'm currently applying for jobs, but I'm also spending a couple of hours per day for learning a new job. And this takes time. This takes a lot of time and a lot of mental energy, and also taking two things serious and being self-disciplined and balancing both things, not doing too much of the one thing, not doing too much of another thing. And later on, when I have my full-time job, I still want to train and to practice the future job that I want to do, but I need to learn for this. So basically, I'm spending a couple of hours each day in order for the future that I'm looking for, that will be much more beneficial for me than what a current full-time job can offer me. So there is a limit that I know that I have to do, or there's basically a desire that I want to have, and I have to fulfill, and I have to put in the work. And in order to achieve this dream, I have to set up limits in terms of how much I have to spend in those training sessions. So there is a season for everything. This is written down in Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. There's a season for joy, there's a season for weeping, there's a season for work, there's a season for rest, there's a season for sowing, there's a season for reaping, there's a season for investing, and there's a season just for staying calm and peaceful. So there's always a change of seasons, because we can't stay in one season the whole time. We can't stay lazy on the sofa the whole time. It won't be beneficial. So it's really important that we live in balance, that we respect the limitations that we have. And if you don't know what this means in terms of what is my perfect balance in life, this is a process. This will take time, but maybe you want to start now to know what are your limits and what is the perfect balance for your life. Let us read together 1 Peter 4:7. The end and culmination of all things is near. Therefore, be sound-minded and self-controlled for the purpose of prayer, staying balanced and focused on the things of God, so that your communication will be clear, reasonable, specific, and pleasing to Him. So if you need help because you know you're constantly going over your limits, or maybe you don't know what the limits is in order to live in a balanced life, then go into a prayer session with God. And while praying, not only in this prayer, but in generally in your prayers, be mindful what you pray about, and be self-controlled and sound-minded during your prayer. Meaning, know that what you say will be listened by God, and God takes action accordingly, if it's according to His will. But whatever you say, it has power and effect. If you say in your prayer basically, oh, I hate my life situation, and whatever it is, God will take action, not to say, okay, now let me completely change your life situation. Maybe He does it, but which is rarely the case, because miracles don't happen every day. Then maybe the case will be that God will touch your life and change your thoughts, that you don't hate your life anymore. So whatever you say in the prayer, be mindful about it, because God will definitely listen to it and will react according to it. And if you, basically be sound-minded and mindful about what you pray to God, and really let Him tell you what are your limitations, what is the balance that you have to achieve in order to have a completely fulfilling life. So this is the message for today. I hope that you got encouraged to think about your limitations, set up some for today or for the rest of the week and the month that are coming, and that you are realizing, actually, I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be heavily burdened in any area. And how do I find peace? How do I find this balance that God is talking about in our life, in my life? And start today, guys. I wish you a blessed day. If you have a question or a prayer request, leave it down in the comment section or write me an email. The email is down in the description below. Thank you very much for your attendance, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.